Have you ever just wanted to get off the grid, to go somewhere where people can't find you? Hey guys, my name is Jesse. Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about getting off the grid, or at least my dream of getting off the grid. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about living in some isolated cabin in the woods in Montana, shooting rabbits, growing my own vegetables, totally off the grid. No, I'm not talking about that kind of existence, which, by the way, was what the famous Unabomber did, Ted Kaczynski, but that's years and years ago. I'll move on. And I'm not talking about escaping, getting off the grid to where no one could find me, where I could start a new life because I'm running away from the law. No, I'm really just talking about getting away from my electronic devices for a couple weeks or a month. Something that I would love to do, but I just can't so far. Of course, a huge reason that I haven't done it is because of summer. I don't want to be out of contact for any long period of time. But even if, we agreed that, I'm going to go off for a month or 2 or 3 weeks and not be in contact, and she was okay with that, I haven't been able to do it. It's probably because, like most of us, we're addicted to our devices, addicted to the social media aspect. Even if it's just messaging your friend, there is a little bit of the fear of getting an important notice from your bank, from a family member. There's a million reasons why, but it's still something that I want to do. Then there's this reality. If I did that, how could I post videos? Anyway, let me zoom out a little and give you a bigger picture of this relationship I have with technology and getting away, technology in general. I should add, however, that being in Wuhan, China, I'm already farther off the grid than a lot of my friends back in America would ever think of being. Yes, Wuhan, China, not Paris, France. So this topic of technology, which is never far from my mind anyway, really came into focus at our book club last week, where I was zooming in from China. Yeah, another reason. Don't want to miss a book club. Now, I've been in this book club since the year 2000. It's a really important part of my life. We're coming up on our 300th book selection. And, a few of the guys in the book clubs were trying to think of what could make this a special book club meeting. And someone suggested the idea of having an AI chatbot choose our next 3 nominations based on our past selections over 2.5 decades. Now, being an English instructor, and particularly an English writing instructor, I immediately hated the idea. I have this natural bias against the whole chatbot revolution based on my job, but more from, my job. I know that some of my students will use ChatGPT or other bots to help write or completely write their essays. And, it's really difficult to detect, really difficult to catch. And this is not just me. I think if you talk to English composition teachers all over the country, if not the world, I'd be in the overwhelming majority. So I had this bias already. I didn't like it. In the end, I decided I was pretty foolish. I mean, this is only one selection of one book, and it's not even a selection because the chatbot only picked 3 nominations, of which we would vote on, to select the one that we want to do for the next meeting. In the end, it was just silliness. Not worth the bother. However, it really got me thinking about, the larger picture of how technology advances keep on intruding in my life, in all of our lives. And in particular, it coincided with this idea of getting off the grid. One of the advantages of having been on this earth for more than 6 decades is that I've seen a lot. And like any of us over the age of, say, 35 or 40, we remember a time when not only were there not any smartphones, no social media, but it was actually indeed possible to get off the grid, even if it's only a 1-week vacation. In fact, in my previous career as a sports writer covering the NBA for newspapers, you remember newspapers? Oh, I miss newspapers. I used to get 2 months off in the summer, and I would just disappear. Now, don't get me wrong. At that time, covering the NBA, it's a grind. It's not easy. It's 10 months of working 6 and 7 days a week, mostly nights, lots of grinding travel. So I earned my 2 months. I worked on a comp days system. If I work a 6-day week, I put 1 day in the bank for the summer. If I worked a 7-day week, I put 2 days in the bank. And then at the end of the summer, I say 2 months, nothing hard and fast. It just usually worked out to be about that. I think back then I had 3 weeks of vacation given by the company. And I would go on long trips because travel is my passion. I would go off to Europe, Australia. I remember my dear friend George Shirk, who covered the Warriors for the San Francisco Chronicle. He got on his motorcycle one year and traveled the entire rim of the United States. Highway 1 on both sides, Texas-Canada border. Yeah, that's what we did. I didn't make much money back in those days, any days, but you'd be surprised, you'd be amazed how many hotel points and frequent flyer miles you could rack up, especially back in those days. And while I loved writing letters and sending postcards to friends and family, I don't think I once phoned any of my friends or family when I was abroad. My mom actually said, "Don't call." She said, "If you don't call, then I know you're not in trouble." And realistically, even though I'm sure that the CIA could have tracked me down a la Jason Bourne, nobody knew where I was. I could just disappear and, in essence, get off the grid in this way that I'm talking about. Just traveling, not checking in, going where I want to go. Right now, I think I'd really like to go to a place where there are no horns a-honking. I probably should remind you that I'm not talking about going to an isolated cabin in the woods. I like my urban hikes. I like being around people watching, all that kind of stuff. And to a certain extent, I do get to travel off the grid. Last month, I was in Thailand for 9 days, and I didn't know a soul there. But it's not exactly what I'm talking about. Because like I do now, I have this iPhone 12 kind of surgically attached to my right hand. I can't seem to shake it off. Technology flashback. I just thought of something from back in the day that was great, not great. So I remember I was in Cambodia in 2001. I was there with, I think it was a Nikon One Touch, taking all these amazing pictures. And if you can remember back to 2001, then you would remember that they had film back then. You remember film. And with my style of point and click camera, well, that's what you did. You pointed, you clicked, and you had no idea what the actual photo looked like. By the end of the trip, my backpack would be littered with maybe a dozen canisters of 36 print film. I'd come home, go to the photomat, then a week later, after I handed over an exorbitant amount of money for these prints, I'd see my pictures. There's a thumb in front of one picture, blurry in another. Totally missed the mark, not what I thought. There was no previewing the pictures with those point and clicks. Anyway, I think this is a good time to end the video. Don't want to go on too long about my travel memories, my blurry picture travel memories. I really want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, please press the like button. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your travel stories, technology stories. Have you gotten off the grid? And finally, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe. All right, till next time, catch you later. Bye.